All right. Good morning, anybody. I said in a short that I would do a little bit longer video update on the DSK Rlaarlo right out of the gate. I had in some other videos, I left email and made a review that they requested. I brought up some stuff about thinking I had some missing parts. Thankfully, some people in the comments chimed in and told me there was a parts tree that might have had some of them. I looked, I had some bushings that fit, but I don't know, or spacers that fit. And in particular, they were for the rear arms. But I had some that would fit on there, and I had tried to fit some during the build, and I just wasn't having luck. But nonetheless, they're in there. And in the meanwhile, the spare parts I thought I didn't have, or shouldn't even see spare parts, the option parts that I thought my kit didn't come with, I went and ordered more on my own. Rlaarlo didn't reach out to me, but they obviously noticed something going on, and out of nowhere they sent me some spare parts. So I'll go over those, and I just want to say thank you to them, and I think it's a good job. Even if there's not direct contact, I totally understand there can be some language barrier there, but it really seems like they're trying to do a decent job. So yeah, we'll get into this stuff, and then I'll follow up with the body. So first thing, they sent a parts bag for the rear arms, and it's both, and there's the spacers for the pivot pin or the hinge pin in the bag with it. So that was one of the things I brought up, on top of, you know, pivot balls for the front end, things like that. So it looks like they tried to make it right there. If anybody does need to order them, there's a number. Hopefully that's coming through. The next one was the front arms, full set of front arms, upper and lower. So yeah, great. They may not have hit the pivot balls, but it almost looks like they realized what I was doing and just tried to do what they could to make it right. There's a number on those if anybody needs to order that bag. For stuff like this, I think you're going to have to go to them. There's obviously some interchangeability, like wheels and tires. That's no brainer. Everything's interchangeable there for 8th scale. But I know some other guys are already using other springs. This is a different body. Obviously, wings are fairly universal. So trying to get some stuff that's locally available, and maybe a little shorter. And, you know, maybe someday they'll get with somebody and make a U.S. warehouse so that they can supply stuff sooner. If people are on a real race program, they're going to need to be able to get parts pretty quick. So hopefully that's what they're tooling up for. Yeah. And then the last thing they sent, it probably won't be much use to me, but it is a set of pre-mounts for the RTR. They're quite aggressive. I don't think I'll use them. I would need to order another set to be even all the way around anyways. But hey, they're trying, and I appreciate it. So get these out of the way. Right, on to this body. This is a RawSpeed Nighthawk for the TLR. I said in another video that I thought maybe the one for the Mugen, I believe. I don't know. I'll double check it and try to put it somewhere on the screen. Looked like the base profile or the footprint of the chassis pan was going to be a little closer to this shape. This one fits fine. I had mentioned in a previous video that I could have probably left some material on my back cut and not taken so much out and just followed their line blindly, or I guess it's not blind, but you know. But yeah, so far, yeah, it's great. I had talked about there being a gap on the side plates here. I cut some weather stripping. I'll show you that. This is the paint job, just a two-tone basic. Left more of a big clear window in the back, kind of like I did on the stock Rlaarlo body. And then you can see there, it's just foam weather strip. And I feathered the ends because it's flared out here, the body is. So, but it seems to be okay. It mates up fine. Keeps anything from rubbing real bad and chafing on the side of the chassis. And yeah, it works pretty good. This is the lightweight one. It was on sale, and I knew I would probably be kind of like chopping it up, so I just went for the lightweight one because it was cheaper. Now that I know it fits, I probably will buy normal thickness one, just so it's a little bit more robust. I did take this out 2 days ago and finally got it in dirt. There's some trails literally near my house, or the town that I live in, that the material's pretty good. It's closer to what you would have on a track compared to the rest of the dirt out here. The rest of the dirt out here is, for the most part, loose sand and rocks, and not, little gravel like somebody would have in their driveway, rocks the size of a soup can, and everything in between. So I ran it out there just to be in the dirt, because I've only shook it down on the street here, around the house, in the yard, on my gravel yard, things like that. So yeah, other than it being real dry and super loose, it did fine. There's sections out there where there's a lot of rollers and whoops, if you will, moguls. I don't know what you call them where you live. But they're whoops for a, full-size vehicle. So they kind of worked out like doubles and triples for this, other than being rounded off and not having, a transition like something we would have on a track. But I just wanted to get it out, get it in the dirt, and run through the set of saddle packs, see how they did, how they held up, what kind of runtime I could get out of it, since our track is kind of non-existent and a new facility is being built here. I can't really judge it very much, other than I rolled it probably 4 times, stuffed it into some creosote bushes and all that are out there. And nothing really happened. Landed on its lid. The Bitty Designs wing took it fine. It doesn't appear to have really even any scratches on it. And it being flexible, it probably helps. The body seems to have held up okay. Obviously, dinged up some plastic on the front bumper from the rocks, the shock tower guards. That was another one, as somebody was saying when they saw these pictures, that they thought that the shock caps were plastic, but this is just a guard. It's just a cover, and they're a little dinged up, but they're doing their job. I didn't put the rear ones on just because it's already kind of hidden, and then I end up with another set of protectors for the front if these get too smoked. Other than that, batteries did good. I think a little over 20 minutes of running, and I tried to do some all-out runs and build some heat. This hobby wing ESC, the fan on it is thermostatically controlled, so it kicks on and off, so it's not just burning your battery all the time. I did put a tiny little fan on the side of the motor, just because, especially right now, we're well into the 100-degree weather here in my area, so I thought for me to drive it into the summer and use it a little bit more, or at least even test, it would be better to have some cooling on the motor. But yeah, batteries, I would say I was between 20 and 25 minutes, and it probably used 70%. I measured both of them when I got home, and they still had 31 and some change, but they were very close. So the hobby wing, the drawdown is nice and even. I don't know, with the servo being direct power, it's probably not a normal thing for race cars. And honestly, that was my mistake. I didn't realize that it was a direct power, but it seems to work just fine. It's totally good for the 4S saddle pack voltage. It goes higher than that. So yeah, I'm happy. I don't know that you need that much power, but it's super fast. So yeah, I might want to turn down the rates. Oh, and I hadn't said yet, this is the radio that I'm using with it. It seems to be pretty good. I got it because I've got kind of too many radios and I'd like to simplify. And this one just seemed to be a pretty good price. And from what people were saying about it, it doesn't seem too bad. So the FlySky G11P, the receiver's tiny, clean, no, wire antenna, any of that. But yeah, if anybody's got any questions about anything, I had somebody ask me in another video about ride height. I tried to answer them and let them know where I was set up at, but everything's pretty much middle of the road, and the preload is just cranked all the way out, or my ride height adjustment, whatever, on the collar. But everything else is pretty much middle of the road. Soft springs, and it was pretty much, I think that I pretty much had to do that really to get the arms to try to sit as level as I could. And keep the CG down. I probably could lay them in a little more. I probably could go to the max position for laying them in and give a little more advantage to the arm over the spring, but then to get into that position, I may have to step up to the next rate that they sent. With it all being new, I'll drive it more and try to get on track here and see how it goes before I try to make any adjustments like that. I understand a lot of the tuning. Racing is something that I've been a fan of for a long time, and not just this kind, just racing in general. And so some of the concepts from simulators and things like that are the same. So I look forward to doing all that and learning more with it. Other than that, yeah, just waiting for this weather to kick, and it's probably going to be a little bit before I really have anything on this. And then also for them to finish the track. If anybody is local to Arizona or lives around the tri-state area, California, Nevada, Arizona, they're putting a new track in Lake Havasu, and it's called the Havasu RC Raceway. So they got a website, the membership, they're signing everything up now, and they're down there. They've been doing all the earthwork to get things set up. So not a terrible time. Middle of summer. It's bad for the guys who got to work on it when it's as hot as it is here, but it's a little hard to race when it's 115 plus also. So it's probably not a bad time to work on the track. Our weathers are really fair, or our winters are really fair. So there should be plenty of time to drive then. I think that's it. I'm rambling. Everybody have a good one. Thanks for watching.